Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Adventures in Careerland. Hello, everyone. It's Adriano Magnifico here. I'm your host for Adventures in Careerland, and we're broadcasting from the Broadcast Media Studio at the Arts and Technology Center in the Louis Riel School Division. The Arts and Tech program houses 13, actually the Arts and Tech Center houses 13 programs, one of which is the Broadcast Media program. And it's one of the gems in this building. It's one of those programs that helps students make a call about what should I do after high school. And for some of the students who are in post-secondary, helps them also develop those skills that can help them become very employable. So it's always a great pleasure for me to be in this program. I'm the beneficiary of incredible skill from two student producers who are from the Broadcast Media program, and they're with me today. Our student producer is CJ, identifies they, them. And how are you today?
I'm doing okay.
How was your weekend, CJ?
It was boring and kind of busy. It was a long weekend, so obviously we had an extra day off, but that extra day was spent at my little cousin's birthday party with a bunch of screaming toddlers, so...
That must have been great.
No, it was awful.
Was awful?
I did.
Why was it awful?
Because it's just...
Say it out loud.
It's a bunch of screaming children, and who would enjoy sitting there for hours with screaming children around you?
Well, weren't you a screaming kid?
Yeah.
At one point, yes, but I am no longer a screaming kid, so...
We all... But look at you now. Smart, intelligent, just a great person. Don't you want to give them the chance to do their screaming before they turn into great people?
Yes, just not around me.
Okay, I get it. Our other producer is Andre Boisjoli, and he's from out of town. How's the flooding out there? Is it receding?
It is. Yeah, it's going
in
down.
St. Adolphe, right?
It is. Yeah. So it's going down, and I could actually take the 210. Well, it was closed last week, but now I took it to school, and you can see there's like debris that's like on the road from the receding water, but you just swerve around.
What kind of debris you seeing there? You seeing like
logs?
Logs? Are
Grass.
you seeing any animals or anything like that?
No, not actually.
Oh, that's good. That would be frightening.
Yeah. Oh, but this weekend, during long weekend, we had a fire outside, and after that we just went around the river. Well, around the dike now that is now covered by the river, but you could see like huge logs and stuff like that. It was fun. So. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. Now, where are all these logs going to go? Like once the water recedes, don't they just kind of sit there on the land or?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if the municipality.
Does somebody clean this stuff up? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, usually it's the municipality or volunteers and stuff like that. So
they may be calling on you to clean up the land.
They might. Yeah. Our school, well, my home school that I go to did call us to sandbag houses like a week ago.
I was just about to ask if you got a sandbag anything.
So they might call us again to clean it up.
Now, how long were you sandbagging?
I think we sandbagged, for a whole day.
That's amazing work, the way the community coming together.
It is, yeah, it was fun. And
I remember the 97 flood. It was freaky. I was on Lyndale Drive, and the water was right up to the curb, and we had to sandbag along Lyndale Drive in Norwood, and it was just freaky. And I remember the Army had set up shop in something we call the Flood Bowl in Norwood. It was a giant Army camp. I thought we were being attacked because I was walking. I remember just attacked. I thought, what are all these Army people? What are these fatigues? What are these tents doing here?
Yeah.
And they were just part of the team helping to sandbag. Amazing. They didn't sign up for that, I guess, in Army school.
No.
They
true.
probably did.
Well, maybe. Well, they must have subwater training or something like that.
Yeah.
Subwater training.
Okay,
carry a sandbag on your back as you swim or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, well, it sounds like your weekends were eventful.
I did a bit of gardening.
Oh, that's what I do. That's what I was doing. I planted the tomatoes.
Oh, yeah?
Tomatoes are ready to go.
Didn't we get frost like a day ago?
I know, but not yesterday. So I planted them yesterday night. I didn't do it the night before because can you believe we're talking frost in mid-May?
Oh, I know.
This is crazy.
It is.
It's
great. No.
This is
CJ
terrible.
has this thing where they like cold weather.
I do. Cold weather is great. When we
No.
had those 2 days where it was single digits, that was amazing.
That's-
Winter or summer, CJ?
Winter.
Really?
Yes.
Come on.
This week it's supposed to be like mid-20s, and I will not survive.
I don't like the heat either. I have very sensitive skin, but
Okay.
I like a nice 20-degree day. That's a beautiful day. Come
Yeah.
on. Anyway, hey, we don't want to belabor this conversation because it is becoming belabored. We have a special guest today, and this is a very unique guest for us on Adventures in Careerland. This is a former student of mine that I happened to run into, and I'll be honest, I didn't recognize this person, but he came up to me and said, "Hi, Megs." I went, "What? Who are you? Get away from me. Quit bothering me." But it turns out he's one of my all-time favorite students. He was just looking different. He's all grown up. That's what happens sometimes. And because teachers deal with thousands of students, I didn't exactly remember who it was, but then he said who he was. And I went, it just flooded back. So, hey, this is a special guest today. It is a former student of mine from 2015, and that's not that long ago. So I don't know what it says about me. It's a former student from Windsor Park Collegiate, Robert Dukelow. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Starting the work week on a Tuesday, starting with a little Magnifico in the morning. I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks for having me, Mag. Your recounting of when we ran into each other was pretty spot on. I remember you walked in. I said, "Yes, Mags is here." And I was like, "Hey, Mags." And then the look that you gave me, like the little like side eyes, like, "Oh yeah, he has no idea who I am." Like not even a clue. That was pretty spot on.
Well, I just thought, with this Adventures in Careerland celebrity that this has brought me, there's people stopping me in the street all the
I
time.
know
It
they
just,
want your
yeah.
autograph.
I believe it.
They want to
Yeah,
take a picture with you.
yeah, that's it. I've got to start carrying
Bodyguards.
8x10 glossies with me. and
Bodyguards.
sign them quickly with an entourage. Bodyguards, that's right, with
Yeah.
dark glasses,
Yeah.
dark suits. Not really. Anyway, how are you, sir? You're from Windsor Park. Do you remember how we first came to be? You were a student and you were in my class. Do you remember the class?
Oh, 100%. How could I forget? And actually, it was more like 2011. because
2011.
You,
Yeah, I was thinking
yeah,
2015. What is
you-
15? Right on. Okay.
yeah, because you ended up cutting out after my grade 9 year there, Mag. I was pretty disappointed and pissed off about that. But it was film and media. That was the class where we got to meet each other. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was great. Walked into the class. Mag comes in, sits on his computer chair, rolls around. He's got his whiteboard marker, pretends it's a cigar. I said, "This is going to be a banging class. I can tell right now."
That's the type of teacher you were.
That's right. I forgot. I always smoked my markers. And I pretended I was a mafia guy. Do you remember all those days?
Oh, of course. Yeah,
yeah.
classic.
I was always smoking. Anyway, that class was a funny class. It was called Film Studies, and the history of that class was the principal at the time said we needed a class for grade 9s, an elective they could take. I guess she said, "Let's do something in film studies. Magnifico, can you do it?" And I didn't really want to do it because I was doing the career internship program at Windsor Park, and I thought this is going to take away from that program. And it turned out to be the craziest class because I said, "Okay, I'll do a film studies and media class." And do you remember? It was packed. We had like 40 kids sign up for that class. And the deal was, if you recall, I only showed black and white films. So
Oh, of course. Yeah.
do you remember that? There was no color. There was no latest film. We were showing Casablanca, Roman Holiday, the original Psycho. Got a few calls from parents about that one.
I'm sure.
And It's a Wonderful Life. Do you remember that? Like, what was going through your head when you're looking at that film collection? And why were so many people coming to this film class?
Well, I think there was a little misconception because I joined the film class under the impression that we were going to be watching color movies. And the first day he said, "We're watching black and white." And I looked at my friend who got me to sign up, and I had some choice words for him. But it actually turned out to be really good. Psycho is one of my favorite films. It's a Wonderful Life. Actually, I watch that every holiday season with my family now. So
And
it was
you
actually
wouldn't have,
really
right?
great.
Like, you would have never touched that film.
Oh yeah, not a chance. Like I watched some older ones, some Clint Eastwood classics with my dad, but that's about as far back as I'd gone. Never really looked at black and white before, but after that, it kind of changed my perspective and allowed me to do a lot of better, classic films. I guess is how
I remember when we watched Casablanca. I remember a grandparent came to parent teacher and just thanked me because her daughter was excited to watch Casablanca with her on the weekend, and the daughter set up the whole thing. And I thought, well, that's amazing that the girl wanted to watch Casablanca to begin with, but could tell her the entire plot and what was happening and the film noir nuances of the whole film. It was kind of cool. Anyway, that's
cool.
That's here nor there. That was a good time. That's how we met. You're with a buddy named Harris. What was that kid's name?
Tyler Harris.
Tyler Harris. That's right.
Yeah.
Tyler Harris. And I called you guys Duke and Harris. I remember that. Duke and Harris PI.
Yeah. It was a Starsky and Hutch type of spin-off.
That's right.
Actually.
That's right. Because you guys are always giving me trouble. Anyway.
Always.
But it was good trouble. Anyway, you went off to the world. And when I saw you, if it's 2011, that's a while back. You've come a ways. I want to hear about some of your journey. What were you taking in grade 11 and 12? Because I left, as you're right. I abandoned you, you're right, as you aptly.
Yeah. You cut out.
I just said I've had enough of this guy, and I left.
I don't blame you.
It's like a bad parent. Anyway, I went off to other things, but you're still meandering through the school. What kind of courses you taking? What's influencing you at the school?
So grade 11, if I can recall, I was in the career internship program as well. It's kind of like an English life work kind of combo. I did resume writing. I did the apprentice or job shadowing, I believe. Pretty awesome program. Apart from that, what else was I taking in grade 11?
Well, you're into graphics, right?
Gym.
Yeah, you're into graphic arts with Herc and Mage down
graphics.
there. Yep.
Yeah, with Major Herc, that was one of the big ones. I was in the Woods classes. I was taking either pre-cal or applied, and I did not do very well in those subjects. I remember that.
That's limiting, right? Like when you're taking the heavy math, because everybody tells you to take the math, right? Take the math. Keep your options open. There's a guidance counselor. They just hit the rewind button on that one. Keep your options open. And so everybody says take pre-cal, but not everyone can take pre-cal.
I could.
Well, did you like it? Did you take pre-cal and like it, or did you struggle through it? What'd you do?
I hated it. I think I squeaked by with a 57. It was not pretty, but I wish I would have taken applied in grade 12. I ended up taking consumer so I could have a good time in my grade 12 year. And I actually, when I was about to graduate from business school, I needed to go to an adult ed learning center to get my grade 12 applied math because I didn't have the prerequisites. So at least applied is what I would recommend to students because it can come back to...
have to do that afterwards if they don't take. It's usually applied, not pre-cal, but if you don't take it in high school, you'll have to take it for certain jobs afterwards.
Yeah,
I was not impressed.
Yeah, and there's this crazy myth about taking pre-cal that, you have to take it or your life will be irrevocably changed for the worse. Like there's this, but it doesn't have to be that way. Applied is a middle of the road one, and Essential's really good. So if you took Essential, you probably got some real life skills, and then you got some of the applied pieces. Yep.
All I've learned is in Essentials is how to build a pool.
How to build a pool? Well, I think a pool.
Yeah, like we had to do the dimensions for the pool and everything.
I take essential maths, and I think it's the most useful course. I mean, they teach you finances, how to budget, how to have banking account and stuff like that, taxes. It's stuff you're actually going to use.
And CJ, length times width will help you make that pool. So it's important stuff.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
I guess if I ever want a pool in my backyard, I know how to make it.
You're supposed to apply that to every other rectangle that you're trying to make or every other circle you're trying to make with radius and diameter. Come on. You're smart. Anyway, I know, but there's other pathways. And you were thinking graphic arts because, and this is what happens in school, and this is what happens in education, this is what happens in life. You connected to a couple of teachers who really enjoyed what they were doing, and you felt like you were getting good at something. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, 100%. I originally wanted to go into ed to be graphic. When I graduated in grade 12, that's what I wanted to do, just because I saw people like you in grade 9 in film and media. I saw Herc in the graphics lab, Major. They were doing stuff that they really liked to do. It was apparent. You could just tell, you know what I mean? Like when Mag sits down in his chair and he's puffing his whiteboard cigar, you could tell that he liked what he was doing, and I thought that was pretty admirable, and that's what I kind of wanted to replicate early on for sure.
I'm puffing one right now, just in your honor.
I actually heard that.
I'm puffing one right now. But that's the amazing thing about school, right? Like you're looking for those moments where, what am I good at? What am I good at? What do I connect with? And you're watching people carefully. What I'm hearing you say is you're watching those adults carefully to see what level of enjoyment and engagement they have, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
See, that's where you're moving forward. You're leaving high school. You think you're going to go into graphic arts, but you don't exactly do that. What happens to you?
Yeah, well, I mentioned the kind of funny sense of the prerequisites there. I actually didn't have the English prerequisite to go straight into education. So I was doing U1, and I was going to just go from university into the faculty, because then they wouldn't be looking at my high school prerequisites at that point.
So, Duke, let me get this straight for a second there. Is it fair to say you were just a lousy student in high school?
No. See, when you had me as a student in grade 9, I was getting honor roll. I was doing great, and then as it progressed,
Oh, so it's my fault.
Yeah,
I left. I was the bad parent who left.
That was the fork in the road. After Mags left, I said, you know what? I'm gonna lash out, and I'm gonna show him how much he's messed me up. And yeah, so I took the pretty cakey courses in grade 12, but I ended up going to university, taking sort of like U1 type of stuff, and I got hired at a bank. Which was just kind of like a shot in the dark, and I ended up taking.
So what's a shot in the dark at a bank? How do you get hired at a bank? A credit union, right?
I applied online actually. I was looking at job postings. I was working at Walmart at the time. Walmart was fine. It was pretty easy. But I was about to graduate.
You're the first guy we've had on working at Walmart. Did you have to do that cheer in the morning?
I feel
you know what
like
I'm talking
that,
about? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that definitely occurred. I didn't participate, but it does happen.
Okay, so tell my worthy producers what the cheer at Walmart's all about.
Yeah, you know what? I actually couldn't tell you, Mags. I loathed that morning thing. I'm not a morning person, so if I was in there in the morning and that chant was going on, I was just I was not having it. But it was something to do with, I don't know, community, I assume.
Yeah, what they get in the morning. These guys all get together and do this massive cheer at Walmart in the morning.
Like just the employees?
The employees, yeah. Well, no, they're forcing all the customers, get in here and cheer. Get in here and cheer.
I'm thinking like over the intercom or something.
No, you know what? That would be fun too. But to start their day, Walmart gets the employees together and they do a massive cheer to build community, to build camaraderie, to build teamwork.
Really?
Yes, it's a massive thing. They all participate.
It does happen.
That sounds like a ritual.
Well,
they get in a circle and they do this clapping thing and this chant, and it was a little spooky. It was a little spooky
and
for
they
me, so
hold
I kind of just kept my head
and
down.
start like saying
No, but it's kind of cool. What they're trying to do is build the team,
Highly
right?
likely.
Yeah, it's build a team. Now, the average worker, the new worker's going in there and thinking, what kind of cult have I joined? but it's not exactly that. It's just a team building exercise, right?
Yeah. That does not sound like a team building.
It is. Like when you look it up on the internet. You guys know what the internet is? Do you two know what the internet is? Go look it up on the internet. You'll see what
there has to be a video.
What it's all about. There has to be a video somewhere.
I'm going to search that right after.
Right
because
after.
That sounds hilarious.
It is. Anyway, so you're working at Walmart, what were you doing at Walmart? I'm curious. Were you greeting at the door? I love those guys.
That would have been a sweet job. Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. Can I check your package? Yeah. Like that's pretty much what they're asking there.
I think that's an airport, not Walmart.
No, that's a Walmart piece, right?
They don't check your
package. They're looking at your package if you walk in with one.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. So then you're at Walmart and you apply online at the credit union. What even like all these jobs you could be applying online to? Why are you going to the bank?
I saw that the pay was significantly better than I was making in electronics at Walmart, and I thought, I'm going to university now, and maybe this is the career progression. And funny thing is that I had to record my responses to a list of questions. That was step 1 of the interview process. It's a very long interview process for financial institutions, and I went through about 90% of the questions. And I thought that I had been referring to the bank by a different name, another bank's name. And basically me saying, I doubt you got this far because I've been calling this bank the wrong name the whole time. That actually is what got me the interview. It's because the person that was looking at it, she thought it was hilarious. She's like, oh, yeah, no, you were fine. But it's really funny that you completely deflated at that point. I thought that I'd give you a shot, and it ended up paying off. So
well played. That was a great play. That could have been a disaster. I've had students. I've set up a lot of internships in my life where students sent the TD letter to RBC and got a terse reply. You can't do that but it's a credit union. They're kinder, I think, too, aren't they?
Much more kinder, community oriented. It's part of their kind of integral mission and their community values. Yeah.
I would think they're strict because you're handling money, and that's pretty important.
Yeah, but
they are.
But a credit union's different than an RBC. In terms of public perception and stuff, because it's these credit unions are kind of co-ops, right? Aren't they? They're giant co-ops where people are all invested in the bank, and it's different than RBC, private corporation making billions of dollars a year. which is
Yeah,
great.
it's quite different.
I like RBC. They work with me in Future Launch on a great project. They are
Nice.
amazing stuff I do with RBC.
RBC should sponsor us.
But different. You know what? They're different. They're huge, right? They're absolutely huge.
Yeah.
One of the biggest companies in the world. Anyway,
Yeah.
now you're into the bank. You actually get the job at the bank. What was the interview like for an Assiniboine? Was it an Assiniboine credit union?
I was at Cambrian at the time.
Cambrian. Okay. So what was the interview like? What kind of questions were they asking you? Do you remember?
Pretty run-of-the-mill questions, asking about attention to detail, dealing with customer service, my numeracy. When I had to I remember distinctly one of the questions was, can you describe a time when you had to pick between two alternatives? And I talked about my love life, not the way you should answer that question.
You sound like a great person to interview.
You mean you're looking at people to ask to dance in a disco, and that was your answer? You need a better story, Duke.
No, it was not. I don't know. Like this woman, she thought I was hilarious, I guess. I don't know. Cause,
if
I ended up getting
If
a
you have
job,
humor, you could get any job, apparently.
Well, or you're doing
100%.
everything you can. This is like a George Costanza moment. You're doing everything you can to not get the job, and they're going to hire you.
Yeah. 100%.
Did you ever get asked any trick questions? Because I know sometimes they'll put in a trick question like...
Or like some weird questions.
Yeah, like what would you bring with you on an island? And then if you say like family or something, then they're like, oh, okay, you care about your family. Or if you say like your phone, then they're like, oh, okay, well, then maybe we won't hire them.
I don't know. Trick questions. There might have been some in there. If they were, I most likely would have failed those as well. But no, not to my recollection.
I like a guy with
remember
confidence. I like this.
Yeah. It was a long interview process. So I went in, I did the video recording. I found out maybe a few weeks later that they wanted an in-person interview. I went and I did that. Then there was another round, and I went in for another in-person interview. They brought in some different people in the room. I feel like there was a second HR representative. There was also potentially the president of the company at the time. I don't remember, but there was 3 people in there, and I actually had to do a test. There was like a simulation. It basically simulated a day at the branch. You had to do, like, there was customer service elements. There was math involved. I had to do a math test as well. And then after that, I believe there was actually one final group interview, and then I got the job. It was quite a long process. It took a number of months to actually get through.
Well, that's amazing that you got through. That means you're kind of a special guy.
I don't know. That kind of sounds like an interrogative.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. I was privy to an RBC interview process for selection, and we gave a group of candidates for their future launch candidacy programs exercises. Like, they gave them exercises to do, and we were watching their teamwork in action from afar. And they had projects to figure out. Like, they really want to see you in action today. It's not just about, I'm a great team player. Show me the money. And so they'll create a teamwork simulation.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
100%.
Show me the money, baby. And now I think employers who are getting really serious about interviewing are saying, well, let's set up a simulation where you need to demonstrate teamwork with the candidates with whom you're competing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a game show, but that's a good way to look at it too.
It was kind of a game show. That's a neat way to look at it too, CJ. It was kind of a game show, but they're finding the right candidate.
Yeah, because then like if someone is obviously lying on their resume and they're like, oh, I work great with other people, and then they
and you can see this person's
That's a good point.
as nasty as anything.
Yeah.
It may not work when you're working as a teller, and it's such sensitive information you're dealing with money too. So you have to have this special sense of protocol and courtesy and propriety and that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's important stuff. So that's cool that you're the bank. So you're thinking the bank, I'm going to be a banker, and you're in an education program at the University of Winnipeg, business administration, correct?
So at the time, I hadn't actually gotten into the ed faculty. I was just doing U1, but then when I got hired at the bank, I applied to the faculty of business. So I was going for my business admin degree, and then I was going to try and get my securities license after that point. So I was taking things like marketing, operations management, human resource management, managerial accounting, things like that.
So my gosh, you are right into it. You are right into it, and you're going to apply for securities. Like, that is your career path. So
that's what I was thinking.
What made you veer from that path? You were ready to go, and you went through the interview. You screwed up that interview. You still got it. They loved you. They loved you.
I don't know. See, the thing is that after I was working in financial services for a little bit, I kind of, as you guys, as I noted earlier, didn't do great in the pre-cal. I just kind of found out that math and numbers, it wasn't something I really liked doing every day, all day. And I ended up, there was a lot of people that were working in financial services that were there for like 30 years. And the only way that you were going to get hours was if A, they went on vacation, B, they got hit by a bus or something like that. So I was a little impatient.
Hit by a bus. So were you stalking some of these people in the parking lot after work, just saying, how much longer are you going to work here?
Yeah. So Ellen, when are you taking off for the day? Oh, I'll be out of here soon. Okay, good to know. Run to my car.
It's got to be a bus, though. It's got to be a bus. It can't be any vehicle.
No, the Civic would not have done enough damage to Ellen. She was tanky, but yeah. No, I don't mean it in that sense. She was just a tough woman. She was very. Yeah,
very we'll leave this right now. Yeah, I'm sorry I brought it up. Anyway, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's good fun. We're just having fun. So let's think about. You're saying I don't like the numbers. I don't like this piece. You must be at a crossroads thinking, where do I go?
100%. Yeah. Basically, what made me switch, I ended up doing a couple other things after the bank, but I really didn't have any idea of where to go. The good thing about business is it's very broad and you have a lot of earning potential. You've got a lot of upward mobility there, which is great. The only issue that I had is that it's so broad. You can use it in such a variety of different fields that I had no idea where I wanted to go with it. And I found out that it wasn't finance, really, wasn't something I was super interested in. And one of my professors, his name was Fabrizio. We called him Fab. He was quite the time. He was a good guy. He ended up phrasing it in a way that it just kind of all clicked. And I was like, damn, you've had the Holy Grail this entire time and you're just letting us know about this now. And so basically what he said to me is that he just broke it down in a really simple way. If you look at a day, just one single day, not a whole life, not a week, just look at one day, there's 24 hours in it. 8 hours, roughly, you're going to be at work. So if you have a job that doesn't make you miserable, if you actually kind of enjoy doing that job, then that's a good start. If you have a spouse that doesn't make you miserable either, if you, maybe she even makes you happy, he or she makes you happy, then that's basically all it is, because the rest of the time you're going to be sleeping. So you can find something that you don't mind doing all day and you find someone that you like being around in the evening, then that's basically all you need. And I said, wow, that's really simple. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. And honestly, like after he told me that, it just kind of clicked for me. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to do teaching right out of high school. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. And I basically had my bachelor's in business at the time, had a little bit of experience. And I said, I'm just going to teach business to kids. Holy, someone just ripped it down the street. That guy's going like 80.
So we can say that Duke is sitting in his car.
Yep.
And he's outside watching.
He's not
things.
driving though.
He's
don't
not
worry.
Driving. Yeah,
is that in a? Wait, you said there were kids. Are you in a school zone?
Yeah, I'm at Sisler High School. I'm doing my practicum block right now, and I'm parked basically right alongside the field there. So when you guys called me in, there was like screaming kids running around. Everybody's outside for gym, and
you should have went and joined them, let out some energy.
Oh man, I really
CJ who loves kids. That's great advice. Yeah, let's hang out with the kids.
No,
CJ?
Not me.
Yeah, okay.
He should.
Okay. Anyway, go back to this story where you're talking about this great piece of advice you got from your prophet at the UW.
Right. Yeah. So he told me that, and I ended up kind of just going back to Magnifico, Major, and Herkimer at Windsor Park there, and kind of seeing them doing what they really love to do every day. And I thought that's something that I wanted to do, but I already had my business degree, so I thought, okay, I'll just teach business. I don't want to have to go through the whole, process of being a graphics teacher. I already know a lot about business. I'll just teach that. And I found out that there actually are business classes. There are 13 of them. And I would actually have an opportunity to do that. So I ended up going into an after-degree program with Red River and UW, doing my third and fourth practicum block at Sisler, and that's kind of the game plan for me. So that's where I'm at now. And I actually got in touch with Mr. Herkimer. He kind of introduced me to the Junior Achievement Program. It's Mags, you know all about this, but for those that don't, it's basically a high school business entrepreneurship business competition where students come up with a company, they develop a product, they manufacture it, they sell it, they keep the revenue, and they compete for additional scholarships.
Yeah, well, that's
And
where I saw you. That's where we reconnected there, Duke. You were an advisor to the Windsor Park team, and
I was.
Mm-hmm.
in Louis Riel, one of the things I do is I promote entrepreneurship, and so I try to work with all the teams that are in junior achievement. So I work with the Nelson Mack team, but I also pop into the Windsor Park team if J.H. Bruns has a team some years, and it's just getting back on its legs. It's called the company program, and I saw you there. So what did you think of the junior achievement program?
I absolutely loved it. This is my second year doing it. I came in the year before COVID. I guess actually the year that COVID kind of started, and it was sort of cut short. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. Like, I kind of came in midway through, and I didn't really kind of get the whole gist. But this year, I was in it start to finish. It was a really small group of advisors at Windsor Park. It was just me, Carla Allen, and Carrie Boyer, who were exceptional. Really, really great advisors, mentors, and I worked mostly with the finance group. It was a couple students, and it was awesome. We just had a really good time. And when I saw you at the award show, when my team cleaned up and got Company of the Year, shout out to them. It was just really kind of everything that I've done to this point sort of seemed like it was working out. All the kids in my finance group either got scholarships or awards for, VP of Finance of the Year.
Yes.
So at least I'm not completely awful at this like I was in the interview at, with the bank. So, that's kind of where I'm at so far. And I'm hoping that I can continue doing the junior achievement, trying to make an impact and helping some young people find their way and be passionate business leaders of tomorrow. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Well, that's really good that you're volunteering. That's discretionary time you're giving up. I have great admiration for people who take their own discretionary time and share it with others to help others get stronger and faster and just help them grow. So that was awesome that you were doing that.
And that program sounds like lots of fun too.
It is fun. You guys
It's
can
awesome.
take this. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing JA for a long time over the years. And I love that Windsor Park finally won this. Like Nelson Mack was winning for like 4 or 5 years in a row there, and it was
cleaning up. Yeah,
it was a lot, and it was good for them because they're a small school too. But once you start winning, once you start participating, once you start feeling success in that program, it's a real life experience that you can't replicate in school because its success is based on, can you sell this product, and do you have the revenue and the sales to show that you sold this product? So it really helps you understand business. You would have loved it, Duke, if we had it at Windsor Park. It was at the time, but now that it's flourishing, and now that it's taking a foothold here in the division, I'm super happy that more kids are getting that experience. It's
you and me both.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. So look at
it really is.
You're sitting in the pews now. You're one of those students who's an average kid sitting in the
very average.
But an average student getting average marks. Nobody's paying attention to you. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to drag you over the line to pass, and you're not getting the exit awards at the end, right?
After grade 9, it was just sort of there,
cruising,
but not heard.
You're but that's the average student. That when I say average student, that's what I mean. So if you were to talk to students, and I love having you in this podcast because we've had some pretty high powered people on in the last few podcasts. Some people have really succeeded, which I believe is what's going to happen to you too. But in business, they've gone on to some pretty high end business companies. What would you tell a young kid sitting in the pews back at Windsor Park about how to make your way? What's the best way to make your way? If you had advice to give to them, what would you give them with your knowledge, with your intimate knowledge now of life and education?
So much knowledge. What to tell? There's so much. No, but what I would say is probably just understand who you are as a person. Like for me, I thought it was going to be finance, but at the end of the day, you kind of got to look in the mirror and know who you are and know what you would be okay doing every day, all day for, 40 years or 45 years, however long you're working for. So you kind of need to know who you are, what you wouldn't mind doing on a daily basis. And the other piece that I would say is get involved with extracurriculars. and volunteering if you can, if you have the time to do that. Because what I've noticed is that with my time now at Sisler's, that first off, the kids here are great, really, really great school. I can tell who does extracurriculars and who does not. Because of COVID, people have been isolated for the past 2 years. I'm teaching some grade 10 classes. Some of the students that are in sports, that do cadets, that do volunteering, that do the recycling program and other things like that, just by interacting with them, you can tell that they're just a lot farther along in their, development than others, because they have great personal communication skills. They can look me in the eye and they're not, like sweating or running in fear. And that they have a lot easier job doing things that they're going to be doing in the real world, working with others and communicating. I already mentioned that, but
right on.
I would say.
So what would you say then? Like, what's the advantage of doing extracurriculars for the average house? Makes you stand out. In what way?
Yeah, it makes you stand out. So everybody's going to have their, their resume, and they're going to have their skills. They're going to have their goals. They're going to maybe, have, the references, whatever. But before you have a fleshed out resume, when you have job experience and you can talk about those professional experiences, if you do volunteering and you do extracurricular work, it allows you to develop professional, esque skills before you're actually in that professional role. So as an example, when I was in the career internship program, there was a requirement to get volunteer work. So I volunteered at Misericordia Hospital, and I got a lot of experience doing a lot of different jobs. So I was managing, it was called pub night. All of the seniors, we would, wheel them down from the rooms. There'd be a performance, or there'd be games, there'd be drink and food. And I got experience working in teams, doing customer service of sorts.
And working with seniors. Management. I worked with a lot of seniors in my youth, volunteering and running programs for seniors. That's a different mindset. And if you can connect to a senior who's lived a life of experience, that's a powerful piece in your life. That says something about you, and you have to iterate and play with that. And because seniors, again, they bring that wealth of insight to the world, and how you connect with them is incredible practice for you as a human being connecting to anybody.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it, right? Because I was doing the volunteering at Misericordia. I played sports and I was on sports teams. So when I got to that interview process, my resume had a few other things on it that others might not have had. And I had a lot of experience working in teams, managing professional events like I did at the volunteering. And it just allows you to separate yourself a little bit, and it develops essential skills for success, I like to call them. Things that you're going to actually be using in the professional sphere, like workplace.
Right on.
So that's what I would say.
Hey, you sound very profound. You got to get in front of these kids and tell them. Sounds like you got a lot to say. So I think you're in the right job. I think you're finding your vocation. I think you're finding the pathway. But now it's time for something we do that's a little special and going to be unique to you. It's called the Quick Cues. And I'm going to turn that over to CJ, who's going to run you through the gauntlet.
Uh-oh.
I love the little uh-oh you did at the beginning. But anyways, quick cues is just a bunch of quick questions. Don't think about them. Just answer whatever comes to your mind first. And if you can't pick, just say neither or something. Okay.
Terribly concerned, but let's go.
First question, dog or cat person?
Dog.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Favorite family tradition?
World Juniors Boxing Day.
What do you put on toast?
Peanut butter.
Favorite summer activity?
Favorite summer, probably fishing with my dad.
Messy or tidy desk?
Messy.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Pronounce D-A-T-A.
Data.
Starbucks or Tim's?
Tim.
Favorite social media?
Instagram.
Texting or phone calls?
Texting.
Outdoors or indoors?
Probably indoors.
Cold or warm milk?
Cold.
Favorite genre of music?
R&B, hip hop.
Toilet paper over or under?
Toilet paper over or under?
Yep.
I'm not sure, so we'll say over. And yeah,
Morning or night?
night.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Greatest fear?
Heights.
And your favorite podcast?
Adventures in Careerland.
Yes.
Got it right. You got the right answer. Woo!
Yeah.
Some people get that wrong, and we have to
Kick them out.
excommunicate them from
Yeah.
the podcast. Anyway,
Okay, so it looks like we're just gonna have to cut this entire segment. Sorry, broadcast team, you didn't get Adventures in Careerland. We'll have to start this all over again. Apologies.
that's no, we don't even do that. We shun them.
Yeah.
Completely
Yeah.
shun them.
Publicly.
Yeah, we publicly. Yeah, we start sending bad tweets out and things like that.
Send the Twitter mob after him.
That's right.
terrifying
That's
as
right.
well.
And we got the social media group here in
That's
the
a pretty
broadcast
dangerous
media
thing to
program.
do.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Anyway, you know what I felt like you were doing when you were doing the quick cues? You were in the credit union interview. That's what I felt. It sounded like they were interviewing you for a credit union job. So it was fantastic. Anyway, you know what?
Yeah.
Robert, that was awesome. I'm so glad you took some time, and I'm so glad I ran into you. And this is what my life is. I never know who the guests are in a particular month, and I always rely on just the serendipity of running into ex-students or people who are doing wonderful things, who have made decisions in their lives that are moving them in growth-oriented directions. And I think you're doing that. I just like what you're doing, and I like that. We talked about you being average, but you are anything but average. I think you're going to make a big difference to kids down the road if you continue in your goal to be the teacher. And I'm just proud of you. You're one of my boys. I'm proud of you. Good for you.
I appreciate that, Max. Yeah, average. I would say more of a late bloomer, very, very late bloomer.
Nothing wrong with late blooming. Nothing wrong with late blooming. Those are some of the nicest flowers in my garden. All right.
Oh, they're the prettiest. I agree.
They're pretty. Well, pretty. I don't know how pretty you are, but you're certainly full of life and vibrance and just internal beauty, that kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure you're pretty. Ignore him.
Yeah, you're.
I am.
Yeah. I'm not even
I
gonna get
can't
into.
confirm.
Okay. All right. Anyway, hey, thanks for doing this, Duke. What a pleasure it was to have you on.
Yeah,
Good
it's been a
stuff.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another edition of Adventures in Careerland.